The premise of the Calling in the One approach really has to do with seeing ourselves as the source of our experience. So what does that mean, to see ourselves as the source? You know, we all feel like life is just happening to us. And it's very difficult to really understand and wrap our minds around how it's happening through us, the specific ways that we're actually creating these same patterns over and over again. And if we were able to see this, of course, we would do our best to change, because these patterns are extremely painful for us to go through over and over again. So one of the things that we're really, really focused on here is helping us to access clarity on exactly who we're being, how we're showing up, what the beliefs are that's creating this phenomenon over and over again. So it's very, very easy, particularly if we have been victimized by other people. Other people have behaved very poorly, they've been very hurtful, they've made very bad decisions that have affected us very negatively. It's very easy to stay in our place of victimization. So what we're really encouraging us to do at Calling in the One is to look at the part of ourselves that can really literally take responsibility for what it is that has happened. And oftentimes it will just maybe even be a small percentage. It might be 95% the other person, or how other people are showing up. But you want to look at that 5%, and it might be as simple as I ignored my knowing, or I stopped connecting with my own feelings, needs, and desires, and stopped expressing them clearly. I somehow colluded in allowing something to be happening that didn't quite feel right to me, and I didn't engage it or ask questions about it, because that's where the real growth and evolution is. And you would be so surprised to see what can happen when you make these small shifts, when you notice that this could only happen if you divorced yourself from your own inner knowing, or negated what you intuitively felt about something, and making the shift within yourself to begin to honor your own knowing, right? To make these simple adjustments. And suddenly relationship starts to occur completely differently. So that's the source, that's the leverage point for being able to really catapult life forward. So that's why we're looking for ourselves as the source. Where is life getting generated out of? Because so much of our lives are actually occurring as evidence of the false beliefs that were created in childhood. And so what we're doing is we're kind of covertly recreating the same phenomenon over and over and over again. So that's the cycle that we want to mature and evolve out of. And the way to do that is to become conscious about the underlying beliefs that are really running the show here, and to begin to get into relationship with that part of the self. Because you'll start to see that that part of the self is very, very young. That part of the self is kind of arrested inside of an old trauma. And it's probably, if you really even ask the chronological age of the part of you that doesn't feel worthy or lovable or safe, you'll hear, I'm 3, I'm 5, I'm 7. And so as the adults that we are, we can simply get into relationship with this part of the self and mentor this part of the self into more true, more empowering meaning. And this is how we start to shift what's possible in our lives and what actually gets created. So you want to start to really challenge the beliefs that have been running your life. So many of us have been in therapy for years, and we might even know the beliefs, but we've never actually challenged their validity. And this is what we're really inviting you to take on, because it's when you really look at the part of you that's 3, that thinks that all men are dangerous, or life never works out for me, right? This kind of thing is really not necessarily the truth of the universe. It's something that you decided when you were young. And when you can get up underneath it and bring yourself into a more sane, more reality-based perspective, which is, sometimes life goes the way I want it to, and sometimes life does not. And the truth is that we are all given the power to be creative And we can all create and generate rich and beautiful things inside for our lives, inside of the intentions that we set and the commitments that we make and the choices that we choose. And so it's like really getting related to what's really true and starting to live life there. So life then alters accordingly and will shift how it's occurring. Other people will show up differently. Other opportunities will come in that were not foreseeable. And this is all from the inner shift. So life transforms externally to the extent that we transform internally.